Excuse me. Okay. So, I have dealt with this, like, I think people legit think sometimes I make up things. I'm like, when I was a child, because legit, a lot of the stuff that I don't know if you've watched my other videos, but I tell y'all, I feel like I'm going through certain things again. Well, no, I am going through things again, of the trials and tribulations I went through before. And of course it could be God's giving me more of an insight of, this is what was going on, but you weren't able to comprehend it at the level that you were because you had, a childlike mind, and now your mind is a little bit more developed than it was back then. So this is what you were going through before, or this is what your parents was going through before, and it's like, okay, I see it, I understand now. And excuse me, I get a lot of people take it sideways because I don't know if y'all can hear me with the microphone being down, but I get how, like, we get offended by a criticism, because I too sometimes still get offended by criticism, because I'm like, dang, I really tried, or I thought I did this right type of thing, or I'm great at this, so I felt like it was done correct. Just period, point blank. Like, I sometimes too have trouble with accepting criticism, but I always, in a way, ask for criticism, so I feel like I can do better. But sometimes, other people's opinions doesn't matter. But people get offended in certain aspects, I'm sure, because I have this approach of always wanting to try to do things myself or on my own. I have legit been like this since I was a child. My mom or dad could show me something and I'd be like, all right. And they may be like, here, this is for you. And I'm like, well, I want to try to see if I can do it myself. And it's like, I just did something for you. I get it. I don't know why I'm like this. I just always have been like this when it came to certain things. I want to try it. I want to do it myself. And if I could do it myself, it makes me feel so better and accomplished. And a lot of times when I do things by myself, I am able to appreciate it a little bit more. Not that I'm not appreciative when people do things and give stuff to me, because I'd be super appreciative on certain aspects. I'd be like, oh my God, thank you that this person came through, because Lord knows, on my own, I would have been like, hands up, I'm done. But, and now that I'm thinking about it, this trial that I'm going through, I feel like I went through it before. And the advice I had gave somebody before, I had told them, I was like, well, if you keep coming up with this mishap, then you should maybe do it on your own. That's how I have always steered myself, especially if you've tried multiple times. It is nothing against this company that I have gave a that I have said something about, because it's a print on demand. My last shirt, the shirt that I got from them, was amazing. Amazing. I haven't even showed y'all because it's a different company that I work with. It's my Illusions of Two company. I wish I can show you the shirt. The print on the shirt, it's one of my canvas pieces. It's bomb. I was like, my canvas piece look great on the t-shirt. So, and I've talked with the company, and they let me know that with certain printouts, with the materials of certain, certain materials, it kind of messes up like this. And But on my t-shirt, oh no, honey. It's like, it's a super soft t-shirt. The printout is soft. It's not broken up at all. It's like still put together even after I washed it. Like, I know I can get t-shirts from there. I just know on certain materials that you order with, and you need to look up what kind of material that is used with the product, and see if it, like, what I would do now that I'm thinking about it too. But I've had to sit and think about on this email whether I should try again or get a refund. And I know this is gonna basically give me some backlash, but I am not saying that this company is horrible. It's not, because my t-shirt was amazing. My water bottles were amazing. They are, not were. What else did I get from there? T-shirt, water bottle, tumbler, tumbler, t-shirt. I don't know. I just know for sure those two things I can get from the company. Yeah. But what I was talking about is, as I think about it, I should check in and see what materials are used. What material was the shirt made out of, because the printer ink worked super well on it. And since it did, it's like, okay, now I gotta figure out what materials it was, blah blah. So I know that printer ink works on these type of materials and things, but maybe not as well on these things. It's just a thought out process that you had to have when it comes to dealing with business. It is not even, and then also with it, because basically it's not even the company, it is the company that they're doing business with, and it's also, it's just different, it's in depth. So I super understand. I have nothing against the company, seriously. And this happened with 2 companies I work with, but they still have amazing products that you can use. And I'm sure, well, not I'm sure, you can say this is whatever, I don't even care. But I left a review on one of them, and I'm guessing maybe they didn't like the review I left, but I didn't say anything wrong. I just said basically, products are wonderful, great for when you want to start a business, but just purchase products before you start selling them, so you know what you're selling. Like, that is just something simple that I just feel like everybody should know, because I myself have just went in and it's like, ooh, I can just sell these products. But when I bought one of them, it was like, it wasn't the way I wanted it. So since it wasn't the way I wanted it, I didn't want nobody else to receive it. So yeah. But drop shipping is such a big helper, because you don't have to keep all the materials with you. You don't have to buy everything. But I have purposely, in certain portions of my life, I'm like, you're gonna have to start doing some things on your own so it can be the way you like it, and people don't think that you are purposely trying to mess up their company or wanting to talk bad about their company. Yeah, that's just how I have intaked literally over the years, and that is why I am so I want to say kind of, if you want to say self-made, but I'm just more of that portion. I have always been. because I am picky. I truly am picky. I don't try to be, but I'm a little bit picky. And once I've tried multiple times when it comes to things, it's just, I get frustrated. So I know I'm frustrated. I don't want to keep frustrating the other person. So I'd rather resolve the problem of, all right, I know I can do business with this or this or this, but this is just not my portion when it comes to that business, and that is okay. Because they still got some amazing products that you can use. Yeah. So I super duper understand how reviews with different products can hinder a business, but one thing we gotta know as human and learn and like intake is that that was somebody else's experience, and it's just even a life thing. Legit. Just because you had a bad experience with that section, that person, that whatever, that doesn't mean you're gonna have the same experience. Like, it's legit like that with life. We feel like, in me, when I say we, I'm meaning me, because on this business journey, I felt like, okay, if I can get all the advice from everybody that has been in business for this many years or just started, I'll be smooth selling. I'll be all right, smooth selling, going up. That isn't the case for me. God, like, I'm gonna have to challenge you a little bit. Or, yep, they weren't able to succeed in this area, but you are amazing in this area, so you're gonna go up. So my path is different from this person, but it's like, okay, they had a bad experience, but I'm having a good experience on this side. And then it's like, they're having a good experience on that part, I'm having a bad experience on this part. It's not gonna match up. Like they say, everybody's fingerprint is different some type of tiny bit away. That is legit our life experience, our experience with each other, our experience with everything. There are people allergic to grass. There are people that are not allergic to grass and can roll in the grass and have fun. Like, so I don't ever, well, it doesn't even matter how I mean, it does matter how I perceive things, but of course things will be flipped and portrayed in other ways, and it's just like, I didn't mean it that way, but it's okay, because sometimes I intake things like that too. I'm like, well, you said it this way. Like, it makes me also think of one of Tabitha Brown's shorts that I just seen with her and her husband, and it made me think about an old relationship, because it was like, yeah, I totally agree with that. But in that not scenario, but in that segment of that short, it was basically how she was like, every time we kept ending up in an argument, it was because of the unspoken words. And it is so true, because I experienced that in one of my relationships. I was just like, that is so true. That's true. She was like, I almost call him Chad. Chance was like, her husband was like, I don't want to go to your family member's house. And she was like, what I heard is you don't like my family. I was like, oh shit. Woo, I almost just cried. Why did they hit the nail on the head? It's like, yup. I heard that you don't like my family. Like, what's that? And then it was like, what is she? Oh, and then it was like, they had went to a wedding, And before that, Chance was saying how they don't need to get married for them to, be in love, all of this and that. But after they went to the wedding, Chance was like, I think we should get married. And she was like, well, like, babe, we don't need that. And what he heard was, I don't want to marry you. And it wasn't anything like that. It was like, he already introduced like the kind of thought of, our love is perfectly fine the way it is. We don't necessarily need all these people around us. We don't need these papers. Like, if we can just be us around us and our love is just still flowing, it doesn't matter about all that stuff. It really doesn't. But after seeing that wedding, he was like, yeah, I think we should get married. And Tabitha was just like, babe, we fine the way we ain't. Like, we still in love. And he just heard, well, you don't want to marry me. And she like, we agreed upon this before. Like, I've had this, we agreed upon this before. We don't have to get married because, like, when it made me think of, because, we have put pressure behind, some serious pressure. And listening to so many different other experiences and everybody else's experience, it makes us panic when it comes to stuff like that. Because it's like, dang, y'all put some heavy weight behind this. Like, we've been kind of like doing good, but then y'all be talking about the negative stuff, and it's like, dang, we haven't went through that. Other people's experiences. When people talk about marriage, they're like, we did this, we did that. It gets super hard, and it's like, well, we haven't been through that stage, but I feel like we really in love. Like, it's love. And sometimes that's just not your portion of going through those hard trials and tribulations, because that was their journey. It's not your journey. Y'all may be good in this area, but that couple really needed to work on that part in their area, in that relationship. So I was like, yes. I hope all my examples, like, really worked, because that was like, I didn't think it was gonna flow like that, but it flowed. God was like, yeah. It's the unspoken words when it comes to a lot of things. So I get when people take bad notations, because sometimes I take bad notations, especially when I'm talking with my mom. I'm like, well, you keep saying this, and she's like, I'm not meaning it that way. And I'm like, I get it, but the way you're saying it, it's giving a little cold shoulder. I feel like the tree is, shading me. And she's like, you're just taking it wrong. I'm like, okay. And sometimes I can shake it off, and sometimes I'm like, no, that was just like a little cold. I gotta go get some cover now. But yeah, I feel like perfect examples. But I totally get it. But I am a person that's gonna try to be honest about things. I don't want to make nothing up, because if it's not the way it was supposed to be, it's just not the way it's supposed to be. That's okay. I feel like when someone's able to point out something that it was I'm gonna say maybe not advertised or the way they thought it would be, and they kind of mention it, it helps the other person correct it as much as they can. And like, I do intake things a different way, but I don't like when people subliminally do it sometimes, especially if we're face to face, and I'm like, I asked you the question for you to help me, but you don't want to give me the direct answer. Yet people always say, when it comes to so many different conversations, that person's not ready to intake that. I feel like, still say it. And just because they're not ready to intake that doesn't mean it wasn't written on a note in their head and, you know, stuck it in the back of the book. You know, the back of the book where it had the index words, the glossary words, the chapter titles and different stuff. Maybe they stuck it back there. They might still be reading right here, but they read something that made them like, oh yeah. I remember kind of going over something like this. Somebody said something about this. I think it may be in the rest of this book. And you know, it's not in the rest of the book. But they're still flipping. I'm like, oh, here it is. Somebody mentioned it to me. And now I can intake what was said. That's how I take it. Because sometimes, just because people feel like I'm not listening to them right then at that point, doesn't mean I don't mentally note it in my head sometimes, because a lot of things sometimes stick, especially if it scratches, if it hurts, if it cuts. It sticks sometimes. So it's like, if it sticks, it's like, all right, kind of like a mental note. Yeah, I sometimes want to like leave it alone, but it's like it's a mental note for me. And I come on here and say the different things that I say because this is my journey. Love to Heal is my journey with trying to, my life journey, one, and a little insight on my business journey of the challenging things that I just had, and that I feel that, yes, I had these challenging ways, these challenging times when we can intake, I'm going to say, other people's advice, yet that it may not go the same way as somebody else's, because we're all tweaked in a different way. But it's kind of like an insight in a way of, hey, not necessarily, I don't want to say red flag, but like, red flag, see this now. That one person told me when they were going through this, they did it this way and it worked for them. But I see another way that I feel like will work for me. And if that fits with your soul and your soul is like, go that other way, go the other way. It's God speaking to you. Just because it worked out for that person doesn't mean it's going to work out for you in the same way. Because trust and believe. There's been many a times I taken advice from people and I'm just like, well, I'm not going to do that because this person did it and it didn't work out for them. And that was probably my portion of my win that I was supposed to have, but I didn't have it because I didn't take that. I didn't take that part. I didn't go that route. Ooh, I did not know this button. All right. But yeah. So I get the understanding when people are like, don't listen to other people. But I have always teetered because of, you know how like your parents are like, I'm trying to explain this to you. I'm trying to show you that I went through this already and you don't have to go through this. But I have always felt like, but my journey is different. Maybe I have to go through it. And some people are like, you shouldn't have to go through that portion. Yet, I understand that. But maybe that's my portion of area. I feel that God is like, you need to strengthen over here because you ain't got it, like, you don't have it. Yet, somebody gave you some advice, but you're not strengthening that area at all like that. And sometimes our parents don't intake it as that. They're just like, you should learn from my mistake. And it's like, yeah, I should. And I feel like that detours you from a lot of things that maybe could have worked out for you or may not. Like, you don't know. I don't know. That's just how I feel. And I know my parents feel like I'm backwards with a lot of things, but if I don't get the comprehension and understanding, it's still going to weigh in my mind like, dang, if I would have went the other way, maybe it would have really worked. So, I know that was like a mouthful and a lot, but I just sometimes feel like it's more pressure on yourself. But I've also explained to in one of my videos on why I would rather do things myself, because it shows me the avenue that someone else has to take to make a product or to do something. And it's like, dang, when I am able to see that too, it helps me be like, dang, they really have to put in some work. So just because, and like, it just depends. Like, sometimes with me, just because their price say $5.99, and I'm saying this is meaning like a private, not basically like a private business and not like such a public, but it's like, dang, they worked hard on this and their product is $5.99. I'm gonna give them a tip. I'm gonna give them a $5 tip because I know how hard they had to do to make this product. Like, let's say, we don't view serving as that way. And I'm meaning like, well, you can say services, period. Because we don't know how hard it is to do a project or thing sometimes. But I recognized it when I had first starting my business journey. I seen that knowledge wasn't free. So when I would ask people questions and want to know a little advice or knowledge, I'm like, I will pay you for it because, like, I understand, like, that's knowledge. You have to go to college for some of the knowledge that you need. So it's money. I know that the knowledge that you have and the experience that you have, that is it's some weight behind it because you've experienced it. So why not give you, I feel like, give you your appreciation for it. And some people may take it, some people won't. And I'll say, like, I did, I'm sorry, my brain started going elsewhere too. I did, food delivery. So that made me, and this is why even before all of this, I was working retail, and one day I was sick. And when I say I had lost my voice, period, point blank, I had lost my voice and I couldn't talk. Like, I was like, and people would kind of be like, and I'm like, I had to put up like a little thing of, I'm sick, a note or a sticky note, like, I'm sick, I can't talk. And this lady started yelling at me, and I was just like, my voice is gone, you lucky I can't speak. I can't talk right now. And that was probably God, like, yep, gotcha. No, I don't think God was probably like that, but that threw me off. I was just like, I can't even talk. And you're yelling at me. But I was trying to help out the business as best as I could because we were like heavy with some traffic. And my boss was like, you don't have to get on the cash register, but you can. And I was just like, I'll do it, to help everything flow. So I did. But I feel like people should either do retail or fast food to have that experience when it comes to working with customers, because you deal with all types of customers in those areas. And it's like kind of like a training ground of, yet you can still lose it, because sometimes I lost it, especially ooh. But it's like a training ground of a reflection. So like, you know how like I feel like it kind of treats you how to treat other people sometimes, because it's like, dang, I went to McDonald's and I was rude to that lady, when I know how I feel, because there was days I was irritated at McDonald's. I've never worked at McDonald's. I'm just giving you an example. There were days I was irritated at McDonald's, and it would have felt great for somebody to just been nice at one point. And it just makes you feel like, okay. And it's not that, oh, okay, I have to treat these people like I want to be treated. You're supposed to be like that automatically, but it gives you more of a, more self-awareness. But my example I was about to use is I did food delivery, and it made me understand servers, because they bring out your food, they check on you and all of that, you know, when you have a good experience. And it's like they should get tipped nice. But you know, not all the time you have that tip that is like the tip you would want to give, because if I had money, it's probably like, I'm gonna give it to you little by little, because you always, if I had enough cushion for me to do things, I get that this is why we serve each other. Everything is an act of service for each other. So like, if somebody was to do something for me, I feel like I would tip like no other. Just because I have it. And also if somebody had even in a bad experience, sometimes if I didn't have it, it's like, maybe you having a bad day, let me give you a little nice little tip. Maybe that'll fix your attitude, because, but yeah, it made me see on a serving level a little bit more when I was doing DoorDash and dropping food deliveries, because it was like I had to intake, this is my gas money, this my rent money, this my bill, this my gas money, this my bill money, this my money that I have to use to fix my car. And that's the same thing with servers. So yeah, and it made me think when I was taking these lifts, I was like, dang, yeah, my lift may be like $6.99, but I need to give them at least like a tip to where they have like a double digit, because I was so happy when I had double digits. When I was doing doing food deliveries, when I had the double digits, I was like, because you know gas was low, I was like, I can do this with this portion and say this part, but I can put this much in my tank. So it's like, it made me think. I was like, ooh, I need to give them a little cushion, because I know how I feel to be out here driving at your gas for people and all that good stuff. So yeah, it made me look at it from a serving point, even though, yeah, no. I mean, of course, the businesses I worked at were serving, but I didn't have to live off of tips. So yeah. But I totally understand when you are like super long funds and you can't tip, or all you can tip is $1. And I know a lot of people feel so strong on things of like, well, if you don't have money to eat, you shouldn't be eating out. Maybe somebody had a long day. Maybe somebody don't know how to cook. And this is the only way of knowing how to eat. Maybe this person worked 16-hour shifts. Yeah, they should have more money, but you know, rent, bills is high. So it's like I barely have any tip money, but I have enough money for me to eat out each day and maybe tip you $1 or maybe not be able to tip you at all, but I'm able to eat and still work. That is something as humans have to understand, but it is hard working in that industry. So I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. But we are all here to serve each other and to learn from each other. Y'all know my messages always be all over the place. My messages are all over the place because of I don't write stuff down. I am simply just flowing. Sometimes I do write stuff down, sometimes I don't. I get like the whole purpose of me I get the whole purpose of you have to take intro to speech when it comes to college, because it's like it's a more organized flow of talking, but to me that's not natural. It's not always. It helps people flow. Yes, it's organized, but sometimes I'm still gonna veer off and go to another subject. Like, no matter if I write it out and plan it. Because as I'm talking, and as y'all see when I'm talking in videos, there's certain things that's like highlighted. It's like, well, not necessarily highlighted, but it's like it's stuck to my brain. So like, ooh, we was just talking about serving. Ooh, this example starts to like veer out, and it's like, ooh, you can use that example. You can use this example. And it's like, yeah, my main focus is supposed to be on serving, but starting to branch off on something. And I get that's how it works with intro to speech, but it starts to branch off into something else too. And it's like, I was supposed to stay focused only on service, but I veered off to something else because it started coming up. But yeah, if my unorganized talking, encouragement, challenging talks, what is it, mind boggle you? I'm not for you. I'm not your portion in life right now. Maybe in the future, but I'm not your portion. And that's okay. That is super okay. Like, there are times I can take my parents' advice, and there's times that I just can't. They're not my portion in my life at that time. That's okay. But I still intake it. You don't still have to intake mine. You can go ahead and scroll up, scroll sideways, however you gotta exit, or continue on and flow with your life. Damn. So, I'm taking criticism. We have to intake it no matter what. And I'm meaning like, because you know how like, you be like, that couldn't be me. God gonna send you through it. So you're gonna intake that criticism in a different way rather than someone, I'm gonna say, saying it. Now you have to experience it. So, if you realize it, we intake criticism in multiple different ways, and have to look at it multiple different ways, because that's the way life throws it at us, puts it in our life, however you want to intake that. Like, and I say subliminally because, okay, at this one time, I was, I'm just gonna give this example, and this is why I had to, like, but okay, I had started making labels for my products, and I was rushing doing it because I was like, oh, I feel like my product should have labels. And then I was seeing how other small businesses didn't have labels on their products, and I'm like, well, my product should be okay, but I really want some labels on it to give it out. And you know, people were asking for some of the products, so it's like, I don't have labels yet, so I can't give it to you, but I should have just gave it to them anyway. But you know, when you have a name on it and something a little bit, at least a little bit presentable, it made me feel okay, because you have my name, you have my number, you have my email on there, we're good. And it's not just with, well, I could have wrote it on there, but that's just not what I wanted to go with. But someone had led with another example of someone doing it in a rush and they didn't like it. And I'm just like, it made me feel like they were talking about me, and I'm just like, but this is my product. I understand it, but if you don't like the way my product is presented, you don't have to buy it. Like, you don't at all. I'm not asking you to. It's just a product that I am advertising. You have the choice to pick it or not. So yeah. And then, yeah, it was just like a whole bunch, but I had to separate myself from a whole lot of mess, because I was like, but you know, at first I was like, maybe I'm tripping, maybe I'm just intaking this stuff too hard. No, I wasn't at all. I wasn't at all. I took it the way I should have. It should have kept on moving, but I wanted to bring, I felt like, I'll tell y'all, the trials I went through. And God, like, this is why I did it the first time. You ain't listen now. I'm like, but good. Oh, gee. Let's look. Sorry. You know, I don't need another desk at all. I don't. I considerably have 2 of them. But a dream desk is a good $600, $700. No, I'm gonna say, because it said regularly $800, $700 to $800. A dream desk, and that's the desk that move up and down, so you can stand up and you can sit down. But yeah, that's the electric desk. Yeah. And I'm gonna go back. So when I tell y'all I was taking criticism from other people, I would ask, like, literally, like, my friends and family that were around me, like, what do I need to work on as a person? And a lot of the times you can answer that question for yourself. And yeah, a lot of times you can answer that question for yourself, but like a lot of the answers I kept getting from people were, it's your attitude. And as I think about it now, people has always said my attitude was funky, but as I see, it's because of the lot of stuff I was already hearing at its most, but I was like, I'm gonna say, still trying to keep those people in my life, but, and they wonder why I had an attitude, and it's like, are you serious? Now let me start doing it. Oh, you got an attitude now? Yeah. And that's why I said when I was younger, I used to look at people crazy because I heard the stuff that they were saying. I heard the words that they were speaking, word curses they were speaking. And it's like, you expect me to be smiling in your face and what you saying is coming out sideways? My facial expression has always been strong and I can't help it. And sometimes I can just be blunt and I don't mean it in a mean way, but I just said what I said. But I understand some people just say what they say too. So, and I may get offended and it's like, well, that's how they feel. They say what they say. Either we can move forward with each other or we grow apart. Now, usually I used to have a problem with growing apart because I'm like, we should all stick together, stick through things. Sometimes that's just not their season anymore. And I'm just adding on to this conversation. I feel like this was quite long. I wonder if it was like an hour longer. But I am trying to decide on which way to go, and it's been 3 days that I need to answer this question. And I don't know how to go about it. I seriously don't know how to go about it. But I do know I need to check into some more things. But I am all for giving people chances. Because life happens. I understand that. But I don't know. Still letting this marinate. Let it marinate. Let it marinate. But I said I must answer. I need to answer today. I definitely do. Before I forget about it. And then go through my emails and finally see it again. Because that's what I be doing. I may click on it and read it, and I'll go to the next one. Four ways make, yeah, now available. Redirect them. Lock them. Oh, these are new features. That's cool. Beam, 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 beam. I'm swallowing mucus and this is disgusting. I need to write a redirection, please. Okay, that's all I wanted to share. So, I take different avenues of a way of appreciating other creators, other gods, creators in this world when I take things upon myself. Because I see and I understand how hard it is. I may repost some of my sewing videos, and I say that because, well, that's something I've always wanted to learn, truly, since I was little. Because I used to see my mom do it. I'm like, can I do it? She's like, no, you're gonna hurt yourself. So I never got to do it. But I finally have sewed something myself. These were different shoulders, and you can't really see it. But the second time I did it, the white line is where I basically sewed on the outside. I did it totally wrong, and I had to undo everything and did it the right way this time. But the first time, I got this one correct. I was like, ooh, yeah, I got it. But when I got to this shoulder, I was like, ooh, how you do that again? But it makes me greatly appreciate, like, dang, those people that be sewing, seamstress and all. Because I was frustrated. I was like, OMG. But this is, it's kind of fun. But as y'all see, like, I'm not the best at it. I had to use paper to help guide me. It was a lot. So all you fashion divas, you people that make clothing, salute you. Salute you. Because you got it. And y'all got some talented hands. I'm not there yet with y'all. But your sister's on level 1 a little bit still. Because this is my first shirt. And I had made a scrunchie. I was like, this is fun. Yeah. So, those challenges were pretty frustrating and fun. But it lets me appreciate others a lot more. It does. But peace and love. I'm out. I'm done talking. I may, of course, come back on here if I have something else to share. But I really thought this should be shared. And it goes with everything that I've been going through this past week, literally, when it comes to this sewing, the email. Yeah. This is just my journey, and I'm learning to still love it. Through these challenging times and facing different things. Yeah. Just collecting my thoughts and keep trying to move. It's like, ooh. How y'all do this on a daily basis? But yeah. Peace and love. Really this. I have always loved this. Because this was like always weird to me. It's like That's cute though. But this is cute. Peace and love. I'm out.